Pinocchio Learns the Truth, a book about honesty. Once there was a kind old wood carver named Geppetto. One night, Geppetto made a wonderful puppet named Pinocchio. But Geppetto wished that Pinocchio could be a real boy. After Geppetto went to sleep, the beautiful blue fairy came and used her magic to bring Pinocchio to life. Now the wonderful puppet could talk and walk all by himself. Am I real? He asked the blue fairy. No, no magic can make you real, the blue fairy said. Only you have the power to do that. To become a real boy, you must first prove yourself to be a good, brave boy, unselfish, and all above truthful. I'm not sure I know how to do that, said Pinocchio. Don't worry, Jimmy Cricket will help you, the blue fairy said. She pointed to the fellow who was watching with wide eyes. He'll be your conscience and teach you the difference between what is true and what is false. Just do as he says, and you'll be a real boy in no time at all. The very next morning, Pinocchio set off for school like any real boy would. Jimmy Cricket set off after him. But two pairs of eyes were fixed on Pinocchio, eyes that glittered with greed. The eyes belonged to Jay Worthington, foul fellow, and his henchman, Guidon. Do you see what I see? Foul fellow asked. Guidon pointed to the wooden puppet walking down the street towards them. Precisely, said Foul fellow. A live puppet, a marionette without strings? That lad would be worth a fortune for the right buyer. And, he went on, catching sight of a colorful poster across the road, I think I know just the buyer. Stromboli, the puppet master. No quiero un chico realidad, pero necesita, dije la verdad, y un bien chico para un realidad chico. He wants to be a real boy because he's just a puppet made of wood, right? But he has to be telling the truth and be a good boy to become a real boy. Foul fell tripped Pinocchio with his cane, then helped Pinocchio up, pretending to take a close look at Pinocchio's face. What a profile! Foul Fowl raved. What a figure! And what a personality! Why, you're a born actor, my boy. You should be in the theater. Jimmy, called Pinocchio aside. He's lying to you, Pinocchio, Jiminy said. What's lying, Jiminy? Pinocchio asked. Not telling the truth, said Jiminy. Never listen to lies, and never tell lies to yourself. Okay, Pinocchio promised. He turned back and Foul and guided. I can't go, he said. I should be in school. That's true, Pinocchio, Jiminy said. You tell him. Foul was ready with new lies about the actor's life. You'll have a high silk hat and a silver cane, he said. I will, Pinocchio said. Gee, he couldn't resist. He waved goodbye to Jimmy and went with his foul fellow straight to Stromboli. The puppet master happily paid Foul for the wonderful puppet. Él dije, fue con me. He said, come with me, right? Pero él dijo a él, no fue porque necesita fue a la escuela y muchas importantes cosas necesita, es responsable para. Okay. Pero él no escuchando a él. Pinocchio no escuchando a Jiminy. Okay. Para dinero, él, digo él, a él. Okay. He gives this man, this fox sells Pinocchio to the daughter. Okay. He buys him con dinero. Pinocchio starred in the show that very night. He sang and danced and did funny tricks. The audience had never seen anything like him. Pinocchio grinned as the crowd applauded wildly, and Stromboli smiled broadly while they began tossing gold coins onto the stage. Even Jiminy Cricket had to smile as he watched the show. Pinocchio has talent, he thought. Maybe I shouldn't stand in his way. When the show was over, Stromboli kissed and hugged Pinocchio. I love you, little woodenhead, he cried. Thank you very much, Pinocchio said. Now I must go home. Home? Stromboli roared with laughter. He picked up Pinocchio and threw him into a cage. Here is your home. I'll never let you go. Not while I can make so much money for me. Jiminy decided to go backstage to congratulate Pinocchio. When he saw the star in a cage, he couldn't believe his eyes. Pinocchio, what happened? Jiminy cried. Él usando Pinocchio para dinero. Sad, right? I don't know, Jiminy, Pinocchio said with a sigh. First, Stromboli said he loved me, but when I tried to go home, he locked me in this cage. Why was he lying to you? Jiminy said. He doesn't love you a bit. He's just selfish, greedy, and so on, and so on. Oh, Jiminy, Pinocchio cried, I'm in such a mess. If only I listened to you. Don't worry, Pinocchio, Jiminy said. I'll have you out of here before you can say Stromboli. He got right to work, picking at the lock on Pinocchio's cage, but try as he might, Jiminy couldn't open the rusty lock. At last, the little cricket gave up. He hopped between the bars and sat down beside his friend, and said, I'm sorry, Pinocchio. It's not your fault, Pinocchio said. None of this would have happened if I'd only gone to school and not listened to lies. I guess I'll never become a real boy now. I don't know how I'll ever explain this to the Blue Fairy. Just then the Blue Fairy appeared magically in a beam of starlight. She touched the lock with her wand, and the cage door opened. Why didn't you go to school? She asked Pinocchio gently. Well, Pinocchio stammered, I was going to school, but Yes, said the Blue Fairy. What happened? Ella dije, ella fala, ¿qué haciendo? ¿Cómo es la problema? Pinocchio was ashamed of himself, and he was a little bit scared. I met up with two big monsters, he lied. They chased me with an axe and tied me up in a big sack. And where was Jiminy all this time? The Blue Fairy asked. Well, they put him in a little sack, Pinocchio said. With that, and Pinocchio's nose began to grow. No fala, no habla la verdad a ella. His nose grew bigger. Pinocchio tried to ignore his nose. As he continued his story, he added pirates and cannibals to the tale, and even threw in a few wild animals for good measure. The longer his story grew, the longer his nose grew. Soon it was as long as a tree branch. Habla y habla. He was saying, talking, lies. No, palabras no es verdad. His nose got bigger and bigger because he's lying. He's not telling the truth. Oh my gosh. Then he could not ignore it anymore. My nose! My nose! He cried. Why is it growing like this? Maybe because you haven't been telling the truth, Jiminy suggested. But I have every word, Pinocchio insisted. With that, leaves began to sprout on his long, funny nose, and a nest full of birds actually appeared at the end. Pinocchio couldn't go on lying. To tell the truth, he confessed, I haven't really been telling the truth. As soon as he stopped lying, his nose stopped growing. As he told the Blue Fairy, the truth about what happened, his nose shrank bit by bit. Fa la la verdad, palabras. His nose got smaller because he was telling the truth. The Blue Fairy smiled and said, You see, Pinocchio, you must always tell the truth, or every lie you tell just grows and grows until it's as plain as the nose on your face. I'm awfully sorry, Pinocchio told the Blue Fairy. I'll never tell anyone a lie again. Honest. Quick as a flash, his nose returned to its normal size. That's all I needed to hear, the Blue Fairy said. Now go home, and you'll always be truthful. Someday you'll become a real live boy. And with that, Pinocchio and Jiminy hurried home. Fala con Blue Fairy, habla con Blue Fairy, y dije la verdad, y his nose was back to normal. Okay? Es más importante, dije la verdad todo el día, right? Pinocchio tried to do as the Blue Fairy said. He tried so hard and so well that the kind Blue Fairy at last granted his wish, and then Pinocchio lived happily ever after as a real live boy. Es un real chico. The end. Thank you for listening. Nice job, boys and girls. Remember to go talk with your family about what was the problem and if you agree or disagree about how it was solved. Happy learning!